What's up, everybody? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show, guys. And hey, man, it's me solo, but hey, I'm ready to do my thing. We're going to talk about wrestling belts, man, and how they impact wrestling fans. So that's basically what we're going to talk about, guys. Wrestling belts and how they impact wrestling fans. So we're going to go down the list of champions that we have today, and we're going to talk about wrestling belts. And I'm going to talk about wrestling belts and how wrestling belts, how it made me feel back when I was growing up, and what I think wrestling belts mean to wrestling fans. So we definitely going to get into that. So guys, as you come in, definitely, hey, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that whatever platform that you own. But hey, I am here to do this thing, man. So let's go ahead and rock this thing out, man. So first, we're going to talk about the WWE, because that's what I have right in front of me. And so we're going to talk about the champions, the champions that's there now, who has the titles. And we're going to talk about the meaning of the titles, and what those titles mean and what they represent and how they're coming off to the fans today. So guys, we're going to start off with, at the top, with the champion, the WWE champion, Roman Reigns, guys. How do people see Roman Reigns as the WWE champion? Roman Reigns has that title, and we know Roman Reigns, not too long ago, he decided to have a reduced schedule. He decided not to wrestle as much. So, hey, we do have that, and that's one thing that the fans have to deal with, that this guy is on a part-time schedule. He hardly ever defends that title. And, hey, I was with it for a while there. But, I'm getting to that point where I'm like, hey, wait a minute, man. You need to defend this title just a little bit more, because that title represents the WWE. It represents the world as far as professional wrestling goes. This right here is saying, hey, this is the best professional wrestler in the world. It's the biggest company in the world. It's the biggest title in the world. And that title needs to be defended. And it's not being defended regularly. But I will say this. He is the best wrestler in the world today. He's the biggest attraction in the world today. But hey, man, I definitely would like to see that title defended a little bit more, because it's getting to the point where the title looks like it's a joke. A lot of fans are beginning to look at it like it's a joke or something like that, which is not. But man, Roman Reigns, he needs to defend that title a little bit more, man. I don't understand it. I can't get with it. I really can't get with it, and continue to say that this guy is, he is the world champion. He's the legit world champion, because that title's not being defended. As much as I like Roman Reigns, he definitely has to give us a little bit more. Back in the day, world champion, like I said, it represents your sport. It represents who you are. It's what wrestling is. It's like, hey, this is the world champion. The world champion should be looked at with a sort of relevance. I can't get the word out, but basically, looked at in awe. Pretty much looked at in awe. And Roman Reigns, man, he represents that for the WWE, not just WWE. The wrestling world, should take note anytime they see him. And anytime that they schedule a title defense for him. And it should be more than just every pay-per-view, and it's not every pay-per-view. Every premium is a premium show now with WWE. He doesn't defend that title on every premium show. So it hurts the title, and it hurts wrestling overall when you have the world heavyweight champion and who's considered the legitimate world heavyweight champion not defending that belt. So, man, that right there is not good for wrestling at all, when you have Roman Reigns who's not defending that WWE championship. All right, man. So let's go ahead on to the WWE Universal Champion. Okay, that's Roman Reigns too. Roman Reigns is the WWE Universal Champion. He's the WWE Champion. So he's the undisputed champion. He holds both belts. So, man, that's one thing that you have to look at. You have to look at, okay, this guy's the undisputed champion. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion. So, hey, he should be defending that belt. He should be defending that belt, and defending that belt with honor. for the sport of professional wrestling. If you love the sport of professional wrestling, if you love its fans, and the fans should come first. That's who you should love the most. You should love the fans if you love the sport of professional wrestling and your dignity and your legacy. Yeah, you're going to have a great legacy, Roman Reigns, but man, just think about what it could be if you decided to defend that belt week in and week out. And I know you have overcome a lot in your career, you know, with the leukemia and everything like that, man. God bless you. But yes, get out there and defend that title just a little bit more. All right, man. Let's look at the next champion. This belt right here is not even a year old, probably not even 6 months old, and that's the World Heavyweight Championship belt that they made. And the guy who holds this title is Seth Rollins, man. Seth freaking Rollins is the World Heavyweight Championship, and big ups to Seth freaking Rollins. The guy right now is in a feud. He's in a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, and it's a knockdown, drag down feud. And I will give Seth Rollins this. Seth Rollins have defended that title a good bit. He has well represented that World Heavyweight Championship. Now 2 titles in one company, 2 heavyweight world championships in one company. I'm not sure, but I will say this: WWE is big enough to carry both heavyweight championships. So I definitely can see that. So I will call him a world heavyweight champion. And Seth Rollins, big ups to him, man, because he definitely representing and he's definitely bringing back a lot of that old school vibe. So a great pick for Triple H and the rest of the guys over there to put Seth Rollins in that position to be the world heavyweight champion. Man, he definitely is you know, putting the thing together by being the champion over there, the world heavyweight champion, holding that, being the first person to hold that title. All right, next, man, we had the Raw Tag Team. So it's Raw Tag Team Champions? Is that Judgment Day? Okay, Judgment Day. Yeah, it is. Judgment Day is the Raw Tag Team Champions. Great tag team. One thing about this, you know, you have a little controversy over there with them having the, you know, the suitcase with Damian Priest having a, you know, Money in the Bank suitcase and being, you know, part of that team with him and Finn Balor, you know, Judgment Day. But is that a legitimate tag team? Could you look at them and say they are the world's best tag team? Yes, in my opinion, yes. You definitely can look at them and say that is the world's best tag team. But one thing about tag team wrestling, when it comes to world belts like that, you have got to line up the competition, man. Line up the competition. Make a real tag team division. They have enough tag teams, but they need to put it in order. They need to get everything in order to make these guys even be more legit tag team champions. Because let's talk about what the fans think about champions. Back in the day, you know, fans, that's the reason they came out to wrestling matches. It didn't matter if you was the Memphis Tag Team Champions, you was the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, you was the Georgia Tag Team Champions, Florida Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. It did not matter. You know, those tag team belts in every belt, you know, whether it was a TV belt, tag team belts, bare knuckles belt, every belt meant so much. It meant you was a champion. You was great. There was something about you that elevated you to a championship. And that right there seemed like it's a lost art today in professional wrestling. And guys, we have got to get it back. So yeah, Judgment Day are the tag team champions, guys. So wow, man. So yeah, Judgment Day, they definitely look like a legit team, look like legit tag team champions. Can't take that away from Judgment Day. All right, man. The WWE Women's Heavyweight Champion, World Heavyweight Champion. It says Asuka right here. Is it Asuka? I thought it was Io Sky, guys. I really did. I think Io Sky has that title right now. I am not sure. Let me see. Let me look this up, man. I'm looking at Bleacher Report from September 13th, 2023, but I'm thinking Io has that title. But I could be wrong. Maybe Asuka took the title back, guys. Let me see. But yeah, I thought Io Sky had the title. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure she is the champion. All right. Let's see. I could be wrong here, guys. But I thought she was the champ, legit champion right now. Okay, she has the title. I don't know why. They got Asuka on here, you know, on on Bleacher Report, they still got Asuka as the champion. But, hey, either way it go, either Asuka or Io Sky, but hey, I know it's Io Sky. But the women's World Heavyweight Championship right now, to me, they have that thing in flux. I don't know if they have both titles. They have it separated right now. So you have Io Sky holding one brand of one of the titles, women's world titles, and the other women's world title is Rhea Ripley. So Asuka has the WWE women's world title, and the women's world title is Rhea Ripley. So, man, both of these women are legit enough. They're top tier wrestlers. They have the skill to pretty much carry those titles. And you got to look at those two as two of the best women in the world. So I have no problem with those two representing those titles. One thing I do have is with Rhea, and I understand her importance with the Judgment Day. You do not want to take away the importance that Rhea Ripley has with the Judgment Day, but you want to put her on a scale. You want to put her on a route to pretty much defend that title week in and week out, to make her to seem even more legit, more powerful on the scene as a world heavyweight champion. So Rhea Ripley, man, yeah, she's a great champion. Same thing with Io Sky. Get everything in line. Of course, she's going to get against Asuka, defending her title against Asuka, but line up her challengers, guys. Line up her challengers, WWE, so that Io Sky can be defending against Asuka. Io Sky can be defending against Bianca Belair. Io Sky can defend against Charlotte Flair. She can defend against Becky Lynch, Tiffany Storm. Whoever comes near her way, she can defend against them, and then maybe have a unification bout, or you can have champion versus champion later on with her and Rhea Ripley. But those titles mean that much, man. Make those titles mean just as much as the man's title over there in WWE. Because hey, both of these women, I can't sit here and say that neither one of these titles mean anything, because you got legitimacy with both of these women holding these world titles. And so great job so far of what I'm reading with WWE and WWE's champions. They have been doing a great job, man. I definitely have to give them that, because my understanding in coming into this, and when I was thinking of this before I decided to do this podcast, is that excuse me, that these wrestling belts don't mean much anymore. That the wrestling belts have been pretty much thrown to the wayside, and we just pretty much watching wrestling and watching chaos. The chaos that comes with it. Underneath all the titles is the chaos, and that's pretty much what we've been getting. There's so much in front of these titles that we don't think about the titles as much. But from what I'm looking at with the WWE, I got to kind of take a step back and watch and look at this whole thing and say everything that I read so far, from Roman Reigns being the Universal Champion, Seth Rollins being the World Heavyweight Champion, the Raw Tag Team Champions being Judgment Day, then Asuka being not Asuka, but Io Sky being the women's WWE Women's Champion, and then the Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley. Man, it's been incredible. So now let's go on to the WWE Women's World Champion, World Tag Team Champions. That's Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. And I'm not gonna say they're not good wrestlers. Sonya Deville, I think, is a great wrestler. Chelsea Green, she's still got ways to go, but she's pretty decent. But man, all actuality, I think they lost the titles, didn't they? Wait a minute, I think no. Sonya Deville is out. It's a Dewdrop with Chelsea Green. Man, right now, all I can say is that women's world tag team titles should be just as important as the men's tag team championships. Get somebody in there legitimately who can challenge for those titles, take those titles, and hold those titles, guys. It does not need to be Dewdrop and Sonya Deville unless they're going to be serious about it. And man, they need to win these things together as a team. It was Chelsea and Sonya Deville who won the titles, not Dewdrop and Chelsea Green. Let me go ahead and call about her proper name, Piper Niven, guys, and Sonya Deville. All right, the U.S. title, Rey Mysterio, definitely deserving of a U.S. champion championship. Man, I can't say that he's not a legit champion. He's held numerous titles, a couple world championships. He's held every other title in WWE, and he's held championships and held the world championship, I believe, in WCW. So he's a legit U.S. champion. There is no ins, ands, or buts about it. But at this stage of his career, is he really the U.S. title holder? Is he one of these guys that's going to defend that title night in and night out? And I know he'll do it if he's asked to do it. But man, somebody else maybe can come along and really challenge Rey Mysterio. So hey, line up the competition for that belt. But I gotta say, Rey Mysterio, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a big ups, man. Thumbs up to that. Another thumbs up to the WWE and what they're doing with their titles. So this right here, I can't hate on it at all so far. But yeah, Rey Mysterio, you definitely got to give him his props, man. He is a proper United States champion and an Intercontinental title holder. Gunther, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. He's deserving of this title. So big ups to the WWE by putting this title on Gunther, and Gunther has held this title long enough to where he broke Pedro Morales' record, who I never thought I would see. I never thought I'd see that reign get taken down, because Pedro held that belt forever. At least when I was a kid. I mean, maybe it seemed that way because when you're a kid, man, things go by so slowly. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Most of you guys know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, that things go by so slowly when you're a kid. You get older, they go by so fast. But Gunther, man, big ups to him for holding that title as long as he did, as long as he has so far. And only thing I can say about this WWE in the titles, their championships, is that Chelsea Green and Doudrop, or whoever it is, because it's supposed to be Sonya Deville, that right there is not legitimate. Everything else is legit with their championships, and everybody is holding up well. I wish Roman Reigns, I wish they would some kind of way get him back in the ring a little bit more, because he is the standard barrier, and he's what everybody looks at as the champion there. He is the champ. So Roman Reigns needs to defend this belt a little bit more, man. That's just WWE right now. I'm going to go to NXT because, hey, that's part of it. So I'm going to go to NXT. We're going to talk about NXT and the champions over there. And, man, they definitely representing. I love what they're doing with the championships over in NXT. They definitely has it at a point where it looks old school, and the titles are being defended. And the champions are really looking like champions, and they looking unbeatable. They looking like, hey, you got to come up here and knock me off the throne. Are you strong enough to knock me off the throne? That's how I look at NXT. All right, man. The NXT champion is Carmelo Hayes. And, hey, he beat a guy who looked like he could not ever be taken down, and that was Braun Breaker. He took that title from Braun Breaker. So big ups to Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is the NXT champion over there, and Carmelo Hayes do get out here. He defends his title. So he's a great representative, and he well represents that NXT championship. So I got to give a shout out to Carmelo Hayes. Next, we have the NXT Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, who just recently took the title off of Tiffany Stratton. And so Becky Lynch, we know she's a fighting champion. She has held numerous championships. She's a fighting champion. I have no problem with Becky Lynch. She represents this title well. She is a world caliber wrestler, championship wrestler. And if not the best woman in the world, she's one of the top 3 female wrestlers in the world. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Well, they are well represented here with the NXT Women's Championship from Becky Lynch. All right, man, the North American title. We have Dominic Mysterio have the North American title. Man, look, Dominic Mysterio, he's supposed to be wrestling Mustafa Ali at No Mercy. That's not going to happen. I don't know who they're going to switch that up with and put him in the ring with. But as far as him as a champion, man, look, I didn't think much of him up on the SmackDown or Raw brand. I really didn't. As far as NXT and him holding this North American title, I understand the man is very popular, got the most heat in wrestling today. He really do. I got to give it to him a little bit over MJF, even though MJF is pretty much teetering between both sides. But Dominic Mysterio really can't even talk. This guy's very popular, very strong, but Is he a North American champion? Is he truly a North American champion? Man, I'm not really sure about that. You know, he's good, but he still has some ways to go. But he is the North American title holder, and it doesn't matter how he got there. And I mean, he had some help winning it. And so I got to give him his props, man. You know, he used the proper channels, I guess you could say, because he did use his faction. He did use his money. He used Rhea Ripley to help him out. And hey, this guy right here is the North American championship holder, the title holder. And, you know, he didn't just use Rhea Ripley. He had he had Damian Priest there and Finn Balor. He used all of them. He used every one of them, and he ended up getting the title. So I got to give him his props, and I got to give WWE, I got to give NXT his props. He is the North American title holder to somebody take it off of him. Man, so great job there. Wow. All right, man, the tag team titles go to Tony D'Angelo and Channing Lorenzo. Stacks, these guys are great. They are great. Tony D'Angelo is a top-tier talent, man, as far as on NXT. He's a top-tier talent. He is great. He knows how to get the job done. He makes everything legit, and Stacks is pretty good, too. So, I can see these two as NXT champions. These guys remind me of somebody like, you know, hey, the old CWA champions or the world-class tag team champions. These guys are legit tag team champions. So, man, big ups to Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, or whoever else over there who's putting together this stuff over at NXT. They have legit champions over there at NXT. So, man, I'm pretty much amazed. I went through all that, and next I'm going to go with AEW, you know, because I was coming on here and basically was going to pretty much trash wrestling today. I'll pretty much go out to wrestling because the way I look at it, I say, you know, the wrestling titles, the wrestling belts don't mean as much as they did back in the day. But, you know, as looking at this, I think they do. I just think it's so much that's surrounded it. It's so many different wrestlers in these organizations. WWE has so many wrestlers. They have so much going on that you don't focus on the titles as much as you should. Like back in the day when we was coming up, people focused on the titles a lot more because, like say, you had your local stations, you had your local wrestling outfit. You know, like Mid-Atlantic Championship, it covered the Carolinas and Virginia basically. That was pretty much their territory, their region. And they did go to Philadelphia. They did go to New Jersey. They did go to Chicago. But basically, the Carolinas and Virginia were their territories. And, man, they represented well. Facebook user hello from Marietta, Melanie McKeith, and Sandra Lynn. What's going on, Melanie? Appreciate you joining the Straight Up Wrestling Show tonight. All right. But let me see what I got here. Because, man, I am. Wow. But yeah, right now, I mean, as you come in, definitely hit that like, share, join. If you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on like times like these. I don't know if people watching football because I know I'm up against, I mean, there's football games on, all kind of things like that. But I know pretty much Chris and I, man, they took us down. They demonetized us on YouTube. So right now, I'm not exactly sure. I know our videos and stuff like that is not going out to everybody that it used to go out to. So right now, you know, hey, I do have an appeal going on. So we'll see what goes on and get everything back to normal, man. So everybody can see that our videos are out here. So, but let me get on back to these titles and talk about these. And like I said, back when I was growing up, back when I was coming up, you had these wrestling championship. These belts meant so much to every single organization that had title belts, even the big two, WCW, and before WCW, it was Jim Crockett Promotions and WWE. The titles meant so much. You know, Hulk Hogan had that title for a reason, guys. He was the best over in the WWE. You know, the NWA championship, Ric Flair held that title. He was the best in the NWA. But before that, when I was growing up, man, hey, Dory Funk Jr. had that belt for a reason. Nobody could beat him. He had that title for 4.5 years in the NWA. Then after him, let's see who beat Dory Funk Jr. I think it was Harley Race beat Dory Funk Jr. for that world belt. He had that belt for a while, and then Jack Briscoe took it off him, held it for 2 years. Jack Briscoe was the best in the world. Terry Funk beat him in 1975, held it in 1977. Terry Funk, amazing wrestler. And people looked at him, they looked up to him as the champion, the best in the world. So he held that belt for 2 years, from 75 to 77. Then he lost it to Harley Race, and Harley Race held that belt 7 different times from 77 up to 82. This guy held that belt back and forth, and he was the greatest in the world, man. Nobody could take him. And if you did take him, hey, he got that belt back from you. Even Tommy Rich held it for a week, but for that whole week, man. And, you know, people remember him from when he was fighting for that championship belt, that he was the best in the world. He was the number one contender. He was the number one contender for maybe 1-2 years or whatever. And he got up there. He took that title. And, hey, big ups to him. He held it for a week when the belt meant something, man. Kerry Von Erich beat Ric Flair, took it from Ric Flair. He only held it for a week. But that belt meant so much, had so much prestige. So him being a champion for I think it was 2 weeks he held it. I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible. So I'm looking at the legitimacy of these wrestling belts today and what they mean to people. Because, look, you can go and look at the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship belts from the Mid-Atlantic territory. Jim Crockett Promotions. Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship. When Chief Wahoo McDaniel was holding that title at one time, man, that title meant it was the number one title in the world outside of the U.S. belt and the World Heavyweight belt. You know, Ric Flair held that belt. Black Jack Mulligan held that belt. John Studd held that belt. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, well, it was just Ricky Steamboat at the time, held that belt. So many different greats, so many different guys, wrestling greats, held those titles. Same thing with the Missouri title. You had the Missouri title, that was one step away from the World Heavyweight Championship. So you had Harley Race who had that belt. You had Ric Flair who had that belt. You had so many different guys, man, who held that belt. John Studd held that belt. Ken Patera held that belt. So many different guys, man, on their ways to trying to get to the World Heavyweight Championship. So, hey, guys, championship belts mean a lot. Anybody, I'm talking about, I don't care what titles it was back in the day. Tag team belts, brass knuckles belts, TV belts. They meant a lot. And today, with wrestling, in the wrestling landscape, for the last 2 years of the Straight Up Wrestling Show, the last 25 months that we have been on, I have seen wrestling belts go. I've seen flip flop. You know, wrestling belts be tossed around like being tossed around like flapjacks, man. And you know, so wrestling belts have to mean something, and especially I've seen it on the indie scene. Big time out here on the indie scene, where 1 month you have this guy the champion, the next month another guy's the champion. You know, you out here, you representing these guys, you pushing them out here and saying, this is our champion of people. This is our champion of people. Don't confuse people. Have a long-term champion, especially in the independents. Have long-term champions. If you have long-term champions, people are going to respect it more. They are. They just are. And I know fans have been getting on over the last several years, have been getting online and everything like this, and saying, hey, this person deserves the belt. He deserves the belt. This person have been in line. They should get the belt. I know they should get the titles, you know, the tag team titles or whatever. When they gonna put the strap around this person's waist because they believe they deserve it. You know, it's not no deserving. Is can you be consistently great? Will the fans look up to you as a great wrestler, a great competitor? Do the fans look at you like that? Will you get the title and become stale? Will you get the title and then fans will not pay no attention to you? And nobody wants that. Anytime that happens, it hurts the promotion and it lowers the prestige of the titles. No ins, ands, and buts about it, guys. No ins, ands, and buts about that. All right, let's go on to the AEW titles, guys. AEW World Title. Let's look at the AEW World Title. Now, this title have changed hands numerous times since Chris and I have been on air as a Straight Up Wrestling Show. Right now, we have MJF as the champion. From what I understand, he's only defended this title 8 times. He's been champion for a little over 300 days. Man, that is not enough. That's not enough. Man, I'm not gonna sit here and say MJF is not a great wrestler. He doesn't deserve the heavyweight championship. He definitely deserves a heavyweight championship, world heavyweight championship. He is a world class wrestler, top tier wrestler. But MJF has brought that title down and made it meaningless. It doesn't mean anything, man. The World Heavyweight Championship at AEW doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's there. It's there, but it doesn't mean anything, if you ask me. And I'm just being straight up. It doesn't mean anything. Now, is he a great wrestler? Can he make it legit and make it pretty much put it right there on par with Roman Reigns' title? Yes, he could. Yes, he could. And he could easily do it, man. It just takes a few more few more title defenses when it boils down to it, because Roman Reigns is not defending his title either. So, man, but yeah, MJF needs to help that company, and helping that company is, hey, going to Tony Khan and say, hey, I need to line up some guys and defend this title against these guys. I don't care if you got to get them out of the indies. I don't care, you get them on the roster if they're on the lower end of the roster. Defend the title, man. Defend the title. I don't want to hear about, oh, they ain't got anybody. They ain't got anybody. And so you got to wrestle somebody at a big event every time. Man, defend that title at house shows. Ric Flair used to defend his title at house shows. Harley Race and all them. Terry Funk, there was titles that changed hands. When Dusty Rhodes had a title, he won the title from Flair at a house show. Man, titles used to change hands at house shows. Defend your title, MJF. And so when you leave the sport, everybody can say, yeah, MJF, man, what a world champion. What a world champion. All right. So that right there, I have to say it. That title, it doesn't mean much. The TNT title, Luchasaurus was the champion. Who was claiming to be the champion? Christian. Christian was claiming to be the champion. Now I think he won like that three-way the other night or whatever on Collision yesterday, and now he's the champion. But Luchasaurus is the rightful owner of that title. But Christian walking around with it, talking about it's his title. Hey, you're playing games, guys. You're playing games. So your TNT title, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. They have made that title to where it looks like it's meaningless, and that's sad. That's real sad. So that TNT title over there doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. Just like that AEW World title. And this is sad. I hate talking about. I hate going to AEW and getting to this, because this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about how they done lowered the quality of championship belts. The belts don't mean anything. Over there in AEW right now, the first two champions that I'm talking about have made those titles look like they're worthless, and that's a sad state. And wrestling shouldn't be in that. Your champions mean so much to the business, to your business, to the fans. The fans come to see the champion. Who is the champion? They don't want to just see a whole bunch of chaotic wrestling, whole bunch of mess, people getting jumped all the time. They want to know who is the champion, who is the best. That's what that means. Who is the best? And that's what people are coming to see. Marcus Brown, what's up? Harry, what's going on? Bro, salute. Nothing much, Marcus Brown. Glad to see you on here, man. He said the only titles that's been treated like an actual title is only Gunther and Roman Reigns' title has been revived. That's true. That's true, Marcus. Everything else, man, has been pretty much chaotic around these championships. Pretty much. I did go over WWE's I went over everybody who has a title over there. And one thing I will say about AEW, I mean, not AEW, but WWE, every single title holder is a top tier wrestler. They could be considered the best in the world. So some of them are getting away with it because of that, because of what type of wrestler they is, who they are. Seth Rollins, that World Heavyweight Championship belt is an added title, not even 6 months old, but is Seth Rollins one of the top wrestlers in the world? Right now, I say he's one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world, and he's in this feud he's in a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. Look like it'll be a long running feud, and he has defended that title. So he is making his title legit, even though it's not as big as the Universal Championship that Roman Reigns has. Let's see, Judgment Day, they hold the Raw tag team titles, SmackDown tag team titles. Only thing that really diminishes that title a little is that Damian Priest, he's holding that Money in the Bank. So that right there kind of like puts a little asterisk there and like, what are they gonna do? But are those guys legit tag team champions? Are they the best in the world? When it boils down to it, you pretty much can say they are the best in the world. So I gotta give it to them. Oscar, now Oscar says Oscar's the WWE Women's Champion. We know it's Io Sky. This Bleacher Report, but she's a great wrestler. But yeah, they need to line up some opponents for her. Rhea Ripley, great wrestler, but as much as important as she is to Judgment Day, they got to line up the opponents for her. They got to put her on route. They got to make a route for her to be the legit champion, man. She's got to knock down the competition. All right, Marcus Brown says Harry, MJF title reign could be the best, but I feel like it's less focused on that title and more in the Ring of Honor branded tag team titles they have. It's sad. That's true. That's 100% true, Marcus Brown. It is sad, man. And he is the world champion. He is the world champion. So that means he's the best. Your world champion, man, what made WCW, even before it was called WCW, when it was Jim Crockett Promotions, NWA, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, what made them look better than the WWE? Because WWE had all the promotion behind it, had everything, man, had MTV behind it, had everything. But what made them look better is the NWA, because they had the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And his list of opponents, man, was just incredible. Just incredible. Their wrestlers were so great. It was great wrestlers coming after that title. And Ric Flair just had great title defenses against great wrestlers. And Hulk Hogan, he wrestled some great wrestlers, but nowhere near that caliber. That's the only thing that kept them in competition. But Hulk Hogan was a legit champion. Ric Flair, a legit champion. And that's what I'm looking for today in wrestling. We need that, man. Randy Savage was a legit, a great Intercontinental champion. Honky Tonk Man was. Even Ultimate Warrior was. These guys, those titles meant something, man. They was huge. They brought so much to us. The tag team championships that the Rock and Roll Express had, that the Midnight Express had, the Road Warriors had. Those titles meant so much. You came to the arenas to see the champs, man. Demolition's title, WWE title run. Hart Foundation's title run. Davey Boy Smith and the British Bulldogs. Those titles meant something. They had a purpose. They had a purpose, and they brought in the fans, and the fans looked at them as they are the best, man. These are the legit. These are the stars. These are the people we come to see. But now, man, hey, whoever got the title, you got somebody with the title, you better believe a bunch of controversy gonna be surrounding it. Bunch of controversy gonna be surrounding it, or it's gonna be a lot of fighting, a lot of people getting jumped, and the champ gonna have factions surrounding them, and they're gonna be jumping people and doing all kind of crazy stuff. Is gonna take our focus away from that championship belt. Who has the championship belt? It's sad, man. It really is. All right, Marcus Brown, Harry. So, in your opinion, is Reigns a legend with a title reign like this? He's at 1,115 days right now. He's in my top 25. He's definitely a legend, man. He's definitely a legend. He's going to go down as legendary, but he could go down as more of a legend if he defended that title just a little bit more. Now, have he defended it enough to where he pretty much, just walk away from it right now? Yeah, he definitely could do that. But to help wrestling overall, I say Roman Reigns should defend that title a little bit more. I understand, with the leukemia and everything, they have taken a lot out of him. But man, this guy's incredible, and he could be a lot more for the business if he would defend the belt just a little more frequently. I would love to see that. JL, what's up? JL says, Harrington, styling on us with a new haircut. Yeah, man, I'm not even finished with the JL, but I worked on it a little bit. I had to, like I said, I had my uncle's funeral today. Had to, I ended up presiding over that. So I ended up, man, had to, get it, go ahead and cut it, try to style myself up a little bit today. So, got dressed up and everything, went and, officiated the funeral, and everything's all good. Everything's all good, Jay. Appreciate you, man. All right, Marcus Brown. Harry, also the person who has the title would decide the seriousness of the title. Exactly. Like if you got someone like Oscar Tozawa as champion, it would be a goofy reign compared to like a Taker or HBK. Exactly. I'm with you on that. JL, Roman's matches are all bloodline drama. It taints it. It does. It does, JL. I can't sit here and say it doesn't. I can't sit here and say it doesn't. Roman Reigns have done enough, though. I will say this. He has done enough to where, man, he's going to go down in history. And he definitely will be top 25. I'm with Marcus Brown on that. Marcus Brown says, JL, salute to you. And JL says, hello, Marcus. But yeah, JL, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. At first, you know, you saying a lot of things. You've been saying that for a couple months now, a few months, about Roman Reigns and his title reigns and things like that. But it finally has gotten to me a little bit. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, dude. Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. You know, hey, I've been putting down MJF. You got to defend that belt a little bit more, too. I want to see you get out here and defend that title a little more. That title means a lot more to the wrestling fans. And the wrestling fans, that's who it should be about. That we are the ones who pay our money. We are the ones that put in our time to watch you guys. Hey, be a superstar. Be a superstar. And, you know, give us that feeling of, wow, we watching other guys trying to get to where you at. Where you at. These other guys, they want to take what you have. But they are going to have to prove that by becoming just as good of a wrestler or better than you. And that belt, man, it's like the chase for that title. Back in the day, I saw wrestlers get better and better, more skilled. It seemed like the chase for Ric Flair's title for so many different wrestlers. They got better and better, man. I saw Sting from a novice, you know, Sting, a green Sting, for like a year chasing Ric Flair, get better and better. Wrestling people, man, wrestling great wrestlers to get to that point to where he was good enough to go in there and beat the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Sting had to go through people like Nikita Koloff. He had to go through his old partner Lex Luger. He had to go through Road Warrior Hawk. He had to go through so many different greats to get to the Nature Boy Ric Flair. You know, he had to go through Barry Windham. He had to go through Arn Anderson. He had to go through greats, man, and he was learning as he did this, and he got better and better. I saw Magnum TA going up against Nikita Koloff, Ivan Koloff, Baron Von Raschke, Angelo Moscow, going against great wrestlers, Bob Sweetson, you know, so many different guys who had so much talent to try to get to Ric Flair. And then he had the car wreck. He didn't have a car wreck, he would have won the World Heavyweight Championship. But that's what wrestling is about, man, the chase. And these guys that's chasing the title should get better and better because they want that title. All right. And back in the day, a lot of these guys didn't get the title. That's how elusive the title was. But now, you know, in the last several years, because the fans are saying, put it on this person, put it on that person, put it on this person, put it on that person. He deserves the title. And they just started handing the title out like a hot, you know, playing hot potato with the titles. The titles got to the point where it didn't mean anything. All right, JL, it's tough to care about Roman or the belt when we only see him for the big 4 pay-per-views. That's true. And a lot of times, and some of these pay-per-views, two out of the last 4, I think he didn't even defend the title, JL. So I understand what you're saying. Marcus Brown, Reigns has tripled the title defense. People back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, he has defended the title at least 50 times. Bruno Sammartino was champion for 8 years and only defended the title 4 times. Where in the world did you get that, Marcus Brown? What are you saying, man? Wow. I don't think so. Marcus, he was always defending that title. I saw him. He defended that title in 1 year more than 50 times. I know. Wow. Let me see. Well, that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy, man. No flipping way. I'm looking it up. Yeah, but no, that's crazy because I saw him. I grew up with him. There's no way. I grew up watching him. All right, some of the man Sammartino defeated, Marcus. Sammartino is the longest reigning WWE champion in history. Some of the man Sammartino defended the title against were legends like Killer Kowalski, Gorilla Musan, and George the Animal Steel. Over the course of his record-breaking run, Sammartino successfully retained his title 653 times, including 62 defenses in Madison Square Garden alone. So he successfully retained his title 652 times, Marcus. So it says he defended the title, 653 times, including 62 of those defenses in Madison Square Garden alone, Marcus. So that is the craziest thing I ever heard. I don't know where you got that from, Marcus Brown. But there's no way in the world they wouldn't have let him hold that title. Back then, if you didn't defend the title in 30 days or 40 days, I think with the WWE was 40 days, and the NWA was 30 days. If you didn't defend the title in 30 days or 40 days in one of those two, they would strip you of the belt. You would be stripped of that title. I don't care if you was hurt, legitimately hurt. If you didn't defend that title in 30 or 40 days, they would take the title off of you. Same thing with the United States title. The NWA, you didn't defend that title in 30 days, man. You got stripped of it. Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship belt, you got stripped of it. They will strip you of that title if you didn't defend it in a certain amount of time. So, Marcus, I don't know where that came from, man. Straight up. Wow, that sounds crazy. Craziest thing I ever heard, man. Marcus, crazy. Oh, you said you talk about on TV. Okay, I believe that because the champions didn't wrestle on TV. You had to pay to go see them, Marcus. I believe that. Whoo, wow. I'm going to say, man, wow, where in the world that come from? But yeah, I believe that on TV that Roman has defended it more because TV now is like main event TV. So back in the day, we couldn't see a quality show like a SmackDown or Raw. We didn't see that, or Nitro or AEW, one of the top. We didn't see a top show on TV. You didn't see a Clash of Champions on TV. That was very rare. You had to go to the arenas. You went to your local arenas and saw, because they was at Madison Square Garden every Monday night. I mean, every Monday night. The NWA, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, every Monday night. It was in my hometown of Greenville, South Carolina, at the Memorial Auditorium. We saw them every Monday night. So you had to pay to go see those guys do that. Yeah, back in the day, no, you didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't defend on TV. So I'm with you on that, Marcus. Thanks for clarifying that, man. I was like, wow, that's crazy. JL, I think quality over quantity. Exactly. Well, that's true. Roman can't hold on to that belt for a decade, but if he only defends it total of 4 times at most a year, it will be unforgivable, unforgettable. Yeah, JL, yeah, they cannot continue to do this. So Cody has got to get that belt, or somebody got to get that belt off of him to where they're gonna, somebody who's gonna be wanting and willing to defend the title. Defend the title. Roman cannot continue to hold that title and defend it at that pace. All right. Marcus said he's talking about on TV, definitely. JL says thoughts on Scooter McGee getting the boot. Wow, I didn't know that. I had no idea that he got the boot, JL. Man, I hated that anybody's getting the boot, JL, to tell you the truth. But Scooter McGee, I wouldn't have thought that would happen. Straight up. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. What in the heck's going on with my tablet? Goodness sake. JL, you know who I'm thinking should dethrone Roman. I know who you thinking should dethrone Roman. And maybe if they would kept him active, I would say you're right. He would be a great choice to dethrone Roman, but that's not gonna happen because they're not keeping him active. And it's a sad thing that he's been blamed for, I think he's still being punished for what his dad did. I really do. JL says Scooter pushed his luck too much. Okay, JL. All right, Marcus Harry. People want Reigns to defend his title every month when he could get injured. I understand that. Plus, he's being used like a special attraction. Also, Reigns was defending the title like every week in 2020 and through 2022. He defended the title a lot at that time. Yeah, I understand that, man. I understand, the risk of injury. But, hey, that's just part of the sport when it boils down to it, Marcus. It really is. So, I mean, it's just, man, hey, it's the choice. This right here is the profession he chose. So he should go out there and defend the title. That's the way I look at it, straight up, man. And that's just being real. That's being straight up. But I understand. I understand. He can defend the title the way he wants to defend the title, and I think it'll be okay long as next year at WrestleMania, somebody who's gonna end up defending the title like Cody takes the title off Roman. But man, make no mistake, he's my favorite attraction in wrestling today. He's my favorite, straight up. All right, JL, Roman needs to show up. He is never there. It's not good. That's true. I will say that, JL. He's not there every week like he should be. I mean, at least be there every week. At least be there almost every week. Not every week. Maybe maybe 2 to 3 times a month. Be there. Show up on one of the shows. All right. JL, is there even a main event scene on SmackDown? If there is, no world champ. Nope, because the show revolves around the dried up storyline bloodline. Well, that's true. That's true. I think they got too involved in that storyline. JL, that's one thing that kind of got to me a little bit. I'm like, okay, they're taking this thing a little too far. You got to slow down. And now I think they don't know where to go with it. I think they are pretty much playing with it to see how it goes. But yeah, I don't think they have a clear vision of how they want to end this thing or bring this thing back together. JL, I don't want to sound negative, but it's not going to change until Mania 40. That's what I'm thinking too, JL. I'm thinking the same thing. All right, guys, give me just a second. But yeah, JL, I think you're right, man. I really do. I really do think you're right. Yeah, it looks like it's not going to change those titles. That title's not going to change hands until WrestleMania 40. Wish it would, though. All right, guys. Give me just a moment here. All right, Marcus Brown says, Harry, honestly, Seth Rollins should be the one to defeat Reigns. Look at it. Rollins is the only person Reigns can't beat when it counts. Cody has no true story with Reigns, but Rollins does. Yeah, sometimes it's not about the story. It really isn't. It really isn't. Sting didn't have no story when he beat Ric Flair, but they did build up something. I will say that. They built it up. The whole thing about it, if Seth ends up winning the title, it's not gonna explode the wrestling world. It's not gonna be all over. People are not gonna be jumping for joy, and it's not gonna gain new fans. This right here is about gaining new fans, getting a new fans to cross over back into wrestling, man. That's what this is about, Marcus. Yeah, Marcus says, Harry, people pretty much want Cody to dethrone Roman because he came from AEW, and it's a way they can get a one-up on WWE. That's the thought process from AEW fans. They always want to challenge WWE. That's true, Marcus, but hey, man, he was in WWE way before he was in AEW, before it was even heard of. Way years before it was even heard of. So he was a WWE product. No ins, ands, buts about it. No ins, ands, buts about it. So they can't take that victory lap. They definitely can't. JL, I think Braun Breaker should win the Rumble and challenge a world champion, whether it be Severton or Roman. I can agree there, JL. JL, boost a new superstar, not rely on the old guard. Yes. JL, Cody should have won at Mania. We wouldn't have we would have had stories and an active champ. I believe we would have had an active champ. I do believe that. But I don't know. I really don't know how much of an impact that Cody would have had on the wrestling world if he would have won it that way, JL. Really don't. All right, JL says Cody should have. Okay, yeah, I got that last thing. All right, guys, let me go and finish up where I was at on AEW before we get out of here. Okay, all right, AEW, man. All right, the women's title. Saraya has the women's title. Paige, is she a legit women's champ? The old Paige, yes, would have been a legit women's champ. The Paige that we have now, no. Saraya, no. Man, it's just chaos, and you have somebody who really can't, who can't perform right now as your champion. You just do. She's performing. Yes, she did wrestle, and I will give it to her. She wrestled Toni Storm, last week. She did pretty well in that match. I will say this, that she was able to work enough to where it came off to where it looked like a legitimate match in that Grand Slam match Wednesday night. But can she do this consistently? And can she perform well enough to be like to look like a real world champion? I don't think so. So that right there is another fail on AEW's part. So with their champions so far, man, I have a flat 0. This thing with AEW needs to be rectified. This is flat out crazy with what's going on with their champions, guys, over there at AEW. Wow. Marcus Brown, Harry, honestly, Cody losing at WrestleMania 39 was a good decision. I believe so too, because if he would have won, he would have kept winning and winning. Then you would have people saying he's getting shoved down people's throats. That's exactly right, Marcus Brown. That's exactly right. I'm 100% behind that. I'm 100% with you on that. No ins and buts about it. But yeah, Soraya, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Now, Chris Statlander, the TBS champion, yes, she's championship material. Have she been a great champion? No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. And I don't think she should have beat Jade for that championship. But no, actually, she's a TBS champion. She's not a world champion, but she definitely deserves the TBS championship. So I will say Chris Statlander is definitely a TBS champion. She is worthy of that title. This first one out of the AEW championships, first one I say that really deserves that championship, that's a legit champion, is Chris Statlander. Okay, let's look at the tag team titles. FTR. Man, I got to get some new water bottles. Is FTR World Tag Team Caliber champions? Yes, 100%. Are they the best tag team in the world? They definitely have a legit, they definitely legitimately can claim they're the number 1 tag team in the world, that they're the best tag team in the world. This right here, man, the competition, they got competition in AEW, but the booker over there doesn't know how to put it together. So I'm not going to blame that on FTR. So I say FTR is real. They're the real world champions, and these guys could be another Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard if it was booked right, but it's definitely not. So, man, they are surrounded with chaos. He always putting Dax or Cash in singles matches. It's a mess. So their tag team championship run doesn't look good, but they are legit tag teams. A legit tag team. Man, it's crazy. I hate it for FTR. I really do. As much as, I really don't care for them. I hate it for them. All right, Marcus Brown, Harry, Chris Statlander, or Tony Storm should be at Soraya. The homie King Mike said this, and I agree. I don't think Mercedes Moné should. That's her buying the talents that's been there. That's true. All right, JL, thoughts on Brooks wanting to come to beat Roman and shove it to AEW. Woo! If he does that, he has no honor as a man. He said WWE was toxic and would never come back, and now he wants to return. He's pathetic. I agree with that, JL. I agree with that. I don't want to ever see CM Punk, whatever else he wants to call himself, by his real name, Phillip Brooks or whatever. I definitely don't want to see him over there in WWE. But if they put him over there, I don't see him being a champion at all. I don't see him making past mid-card status. It's just not going to happen unless they push him because of his name. But his name to me, is nothing over there. There's so many guys who's bigger stars than CM Punk in WWE right now. All right, Marcus Brown, Harry, I want TK should book what he was supposed to do with Jade and have Chris Statlander versus Soraya in a title versus title winner take all match. Have Chris hold both titles. Yes, she could. She definitely could. I would have no problem with that because she's definitely a better champion than Soraya can ever be right now. And hey, man, I'm sorry that Soraya is injured. She really can't do it anymore. She really can't. Marcus Brown says at Jay, he said, are you talking about Punk? Reigns would slaughter him. You forgot Reigns hates him for Punk almost killing his career in 2014. That's true. JL says Brooks tried burying Roman back then, okay? That podcast, yep. Marcus Brown, Harry, Punk would be a hypocrite Okay, Marcus Brown says Punk will be a hypocrite if he won the title off Reigns because he was complaining about the same thing when it was Rock in the main event. That's true. That's true. But he wouldn't get, man, I just don't see, I don't see no kind of way CM Punk winning that title over. I don't see him going to the WWE and winning that title. Not even the NXT title, guys. This guy will get hurt. Put him in there against somebody like Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker will hurt that guy. Put him in there against Ilya Dragunov. He will hurt the guy. Gunther will hurt the guy. And I'm talking about, I mean, I believe they will legitimately hurt him. I don't think they will be trying to hurt him. I just don't think he can keep up. I don't think he can keep up with the pace of the guys over there in WWE. I actually don't think he could do that. He will get hurt. His body is gone, guys. He's wore out. His body is shut down. You know, his body's shut down. I don't think he can survive over in WWE. Straight up. JL, I laughed when you said junk in NXT. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I know it came out, man. It came out. But no, I don't think he can. I don't think he can win anything over there, to tell you the truth. But I'm being honest, man. I'm being honest. And if they give it to him, when it boils down to it, it's a pity championship. Yeah, Ilya. Yeah, Ilya put a whooping on him, man. Ilya will put a whipping on him. And think about it. Think about it if he acted a fool over there in WWE. Somebody will beat his tail for real, man. JL, let's see if Brooks will be keeping that attitude after a match with Braun or Ilya. Exactly. All right, Marcus Brown, Harry, after that Punk interview, that's when people started hating Reigns because they heard Vince wanted Reigns as the face of the company because it's always to revolt against anything Vince loves. That's true. That's true. But Vince vision was right, man. I have to give it to Vince. The vision was right. Roman Reigns, he's a great face of the company. Great face of the company. Even though it took years to get him there, and people couldn't stand it because of Punk, doing that podcast, coming out there talking all that mess and everything, trying to bury him. Man, it's just flat out crazy. All right, let me finish up this thing, guys. Man, let's go finish up the AEW. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do a Ring of Honor. Okay, the trios titles. This right here, man, is a waste because these trios titles, there's nothing but chaos around these titles all the time. The trios titles, The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Wow. I've never seen trios titles presented. I've never seen trios titles be a 6-man tag team titles. Never seen them be as relevant as AEW is making them today. I've never seen that happen before, guys. This right here is shocking me. I will say that. It's shocking me with what he's doing with those trios titles. He's making those things look more important than his tag team titles. And that's a sad thing to do. But the trios championship with the Acclaimed to Billy Gunn, I'm going to go ahead and roll with it because the Acclaimed, what they was able to do is tag team champs, and Billy Gunn definitely a legit tag team wrestler, one of the best in the world, man, to ever do it. So definitely go ahead and roll with that. The AEW International title, Jon Moxley has that now, and I think he brings a legitimacy to it. You did have Orange Cassidy. Even though he's talented, Orange Cassidy made the thing. He was a joke when it boils down to it, man. But I have to say, when it's time to get down to business, he could do it if he wanted to do it. So I will go ahead and make that. I will say that's a legitimate title. But when it boils down to it, all I got to say is MJF, step up. You need to defend that title, man. That title means nothing. MJF's title, that world title over there, doesn't mean anything. And that right there hurts that company more than anything. And that TNT title that Luchasaurus had, that Christian is claiming now, it means nothing. It means nothing. So you got 2 major titles there that mean nothing, and a women's title, world's title, Sorrell's belt, doesn't mean anything. So to get in a line, if you got your 3 main titles, don't mean anything, and nothing but chaos surrounding them, your company is going to succeed. You can't sustain that, Tony Khan. Get it right. It has to be done right. All right, guys, let me get back up here. Make sure I get everybody's comments. Yeah, JL says Brooks will learn his place very quickly. He needs it. On which JL. JL says, I always hated six-man tag team matches. I cannot stand a title around it. Zach, I'm with you, JL. I'm with you. That's the reason why it never was a legit thing. You had six-man tag team champions in NWA and the WWE, but they never was featured. It never was featured. Tony Khan is featuring those things, featuring those tag team titles. I mean, those triple tag team titles, those six-man tag team titles, those trios tag team titles, and it's more important than the World Tag Team Championships and even the singles belts. It don't make no sense. It doesn't make no sense. It's crazy. Marcus Brown, Harry, I do like what you and Chris said with a Dream Dragunov versus Reign match. That they will say you better keep the money maker safe or you will be in trouble. Dragunov is a brutal wrestler. Yes, he is. Marcus Brown, Harry Moxley lost that title on Wednesday, bro. He did? Yes, he did. Yes, he did, man. I even put a short up on that, and that got me in trouble, man. I put a short on that, and it got me in trouble with YouTube. I'm gonna have to take that down. Look like, but yeah, he lost that title, man. So he lost that title to Ray Phoenix. But yeah, he definitely lost that title. Thanks, Marcus. Yeah, he did. He did. But they have it on here, man. They Bleacher Report haven't changed it. So sorry about that. But thanks for letting me know, Marcus. JL. Mox got injured, well knocked out. He should use the time to reflect on his wrestling style. I'm with you on that, JL. JL, 1 month in my third year at uni. Between work and school, I got no time for free time. Damn. Yeah, JL. Wow, man. Wow. Marcus Brown, Harry, that Wrestle Dream is glorified. It's a glorified tag team wrestling pay-per-view. It's about 7 tag team matches on the show. There's only like 3 one-on-one matches at the show. Tony Khan always overbooks stuff, stipulation and tag matches. Goodness sake, Marcus said, Harry, you're welcome, bro. Man, that is crazy. Marcus, that's crazy. 7 tag team matches on that Dream. What is it, that Dream thing? Man. Yeah, that Dream or whatever, Dream of Khan or whatever they calling it. That's flat crazy. I won't watch that. I won't watch it. Because look, I will. Wow. For real? Why have that many tag team matches when you don't focus on tag teams? Why? Why do it? It don't make no sense, man. But hey, we're talking about Tony Khan, guys. We're talking about Tony Khan. So many things he does that don't make sense, that don't make no kind of sense, guys. But yeah, AEW definitely, man, they are in trouble. I say 60-40. They 40%, they don't have no control over what's going on in their company when it comes to belts. Pretty much 50%. Because, I mean, in that 50% on one side tears the whole company apart because MJF with his title, Luchasaurus Christian with that TNT belt, and the women's World Heavyweight Championship belt. Sorrel, your world belts mean nothing. And that's very bad. That's very bad. Wow. That is awful. That's awful. Marcus says, Harry, look at the match card and you will see all these tag team matches on the pay-per-view. That is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look at that, Marcus. Marcus Brown, Harry said, and why is everyone in a tag team or has a stable? Can anyone dare do business on their own? That's what I'm wondering, Marcus. That's what I'm wondering. That it's a sad state of affairs over there, man. And Tony Khan, man, I wish the best for Tony Khan, but Tony Khan he's bringing this stuff on himself. Definitely. All right, you got your Ring of Honor World Champion, Claudio Castagnoli. He lost that title. He's not the World Heavyweight Championship. He's not the world champion holder over there. It's Eddie Kingston. So big ups to Eddie Kingston. Is he a world championship caliber wrestler? No, I'm going to say not. But I will call him a legitimate world champion because he beat a legitimate world champion. In my eyes, Claudio Castagnoli, even though Claudio Castagnoli really wasn't a legitimate world champion, because what did Claudio Castagnoli, what has he been doing since he had that title? He's been over in AEW pretty much teaming up with the Blackpool Combat Club in what? Trios matches. That's what he's been doing. And when he's been on Ring of Honor, he's defended the belt every now and then. But pretty much he's been used in the Blackpool Combat Club. So definitely I wouldn't consider that. I got to give him a big F on that. I got to give him a thumbs down. Thumbs up to the Ring of Honor TV champion, Samoa Joe. He has defended that title over there, even come to AEW Dynamite, and has defended the title on Collision and Rampage. So big ups to the Ring of Honor TV champion. He's a legit champion. The Ring of Honor Pure champion, Katsuyori Shibata. Man, look, he defends the title when he has a chance, and he's over here. So I will say he's a legit, the legit Pure champion, Ring of Honor Pure champion. The Ring of Honor tag titles, at this point, Adam Cole and MJF has it, and I think they lost the titles to the Righteous Brothers or something like that. The Ring of Honor tag titles, those titles don't mean anything. Once Adam Cole and MJF got it, didn't mean anything. Athena is the Ring of Honor Women's Heavyweight Champion. That title means a lot. It 100% legit. Mogul Embassy had the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles. They lost it to the Elite. The Elite will never go over to the Ring of Honor to defend those titles. They just won't. They'll look at it as a promotion. I mean, a demotion. They'll look at it as a demotion. So they won't go over there to defend those titles. So those titles don't mean anything. So Ring of Honor, all chaos, guys. Those titles mean nothing. So when your titles don't mean nothing, wrestling don't mean nothing. It really don't. It really don't. You cannot get around. You can't get around that. That your titles don't mean anything. You can't get around it. If the titles don't mean anything, wrestling is not going to mean anything to people. It really is. And the same thing on the indie circuit, independent circuit. Chris and I, we've seen these titles bounce back and forth between guys. And, you think somebody's the champion, and, hey, if they didn't lose it to somebody, maybe at another show or whatever, then the promoter decided to take the belts off of that person. So when people show up, sometimes they do it a day of the show or 2 days before the show. When people show up, we have a new champion. It don't make no sense, guys. Really don't. All right, let me get a couple more comments in here. Marcus Brown said, Harry, who's the best champion in all of wrestling right now? Your top 10. The best champion in all of wrestling right now? I got to give it to Self-freaking Rollins, man. I got to give it to Self-freaking Rollins. He's defending. No, I give it to Gunther. Gunther is in my opinion, is the best champion in wrestling right now. Then I'm gonna go with Self-freaking Rollins only because it's a world championship belt. Then I will go with Samoa Joe at the number 3 spot because that's a world heavyweight championship belt. Then I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch. I'm gonna throw women in this. I'm gonna go with Becky Lynch because we know she's gonna defend that belt against anybody. Then I'm gonna go with JL's paper champ, Carmelo Hayes. All right, number 6, man. Number 6. I'm gonna go ahead and number 6. I am not sure who I'm gonna go with number 6 right now. Give me a second. I'm gonna go with the IWGP World Champion. That's Sonata. Number 7. I'm gonna go with Will Ospreay, the IWGP US title holder. Then number 8, I'm gonna go with Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley, the Impact Wrestling champion. Number 9, man. Number 9, I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio, and number 10, I'm gonna go with Io. I'm gonna go with Io Scott at number 10. But wow. But guys, it's been a night, man. It's been a night. Let me get the rest of these comments, guys. Marcus Brown, JL, where you at, bro? Chat it up here. Marcus Brown, Harry, you got MJF, Adam, and the Elite holding titles on a brand they won't defend it on. Exactly. I'm starting to think TK trying to slowly kill off Ring of Honor from the inside. He might be doing that, Marcus. He might be doing that because you're right. The Elite is not going to go over there because they'll look at it as a demotion, man. And the sad part about it is I think the Elite just wanted those belts just so they just wanted the titles. Just wanted the titles. They didn't need them. Sad, man. Sad. It really is sad, Marcus. They did not need those titles. Man, they taking an opportunity away from somebody else. All right, my man Marcus Brown said, Harry, that's a great list. Becky has released the schedule where she would defend the title. She's going to defend that title every week. I applaud Becky for trying to build the brand back. It's working. All right. No doubt about that, Marcus Brown. Straight up. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, man. But Marcus Brown, man, JL, Melanie McKeith, I appreciate y'all coming in, rocking with me. It was a couple other people, but I definitely appreciate y'all coming in, rocking with me on this night right here, man, doing another Dropkicks and Body Slams, talking about belts, titles, championship belts, and what belts mean to wrestling fans. Like I said, before I leave, man, wrestling belts meant the world to me. And somebody holding a wrestling belt was just, I was just in awe. If you held the wrestling belt back in the day, I was in awe. Like, wow, man, this is the champion. Man, he had to work hard to get this belt, this title. It took him a long time to win this title. I knew how hard it was to win a title. The person that had that title did everything they could to fight you off to where you couldn't get that title. So winning a title meant a lot. Wrestling needs to get back to that. And I have to give it to WWE. They're on their way, man. They're on their way to getting that thing corrected. They do have chaos around some of those championships. But for the most part, man, they are doing a pretty decent job. AEW still has a ways to go. They have a lot of chaos going on. And like Marcus said, can anybody do business by themselves? Everybody's in a tag team or a faction. Can anybody do business by themselves? Until that happens, man, nobody's going to respect your champions. They're not. They're not going to respect the champions over there. But, man, it's been flat out crazy. But I appreciate everybody coming on tonight, guys. Tell you what, before you leave out of here, man, definitely hit that like. I don't care what platform you're on. Definitely hit that like. Share this, and I'll see you guys later. Stay straight up. Peace.